all about how to host a virtual trunk show. If you have already done one, I'm going to share with you some of our secrets on how to get the most out of your show. If you are someone who has been thinking about trying one and you're not quite sure, I'm going to be walking you through some simple step-by-step processes to help you pull off a trunk show without a hitch. Now, before I get started, I'm going to share my screen and get this going. If you are watching, I would love to know, can you see the slides? I'm going to actually get off of this screen, and I'm going to actually put this in full screen mode. I think this should be working. So once again, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy, and I am super excited to be here today to talk a little bit more about, share with you this brand new masterclass, but also to talk a little bit more about virtual trunk shows. So raise your hand if you'd like to find some ways to engage with your customers and make a lot more sales online while you're at it. Well, I want to tell you that you're in the right place today, and I'm going to teach you how to host a profitable virtual trunk show, especially if you're a jewelry designer. But if you have another product as well, this system will work for you like gangbusters. My goal today is to show you the benefits of hosting a live trunk show online, and I'm going to walk you through the basics of how to do all of this successfully. More than anything, I really want your business to thrive in any environment. So you never have to worry about art shows, wholesale, or in-person events ever getting canceled again. And here's the best part. Virtual trunk shows are an amazing avenue for sales whether you're just starting out or you're already a well-known brand. So before I jump in, if you are joining me, I'd love for you to type your name and business in the comments, if you can find those, depending on the platform that you're watching this on. And one thing that I want to mention is that I hope you'll stay till the end, because I'm going to be giving away a free resource to help you with your next virtual trunk show. It's called 11 Types of Virtual Trunk Shows Every Jewelry or Product Maker Must Try. It's an amazing resource that outlines 11 of the most popular ways to create a virtual sales experience. And we're going to help you with ways to not only wow your customers, but to help you make more sales than you normally would at an in-person event. Now, before we move on, I want to invite you to give yourself the gift of presence. As we know, I'm going to move through these topics really quickly. I speak fast, and I don't want you to miss anything. If that sounds good, I would like to invite you to turn off all distractions. I know you're here watching this, wherever you're watching this video, make sure that you shut the door, close your computer browsers, or turn your phone over unless you're watching this on your phone. Do whatever you need to do to stay focused. Here's why. Most successful people make time to learn new things, implement new solutions, and work on their business. And I want you to use this time to actually focus on growing your business instead of working in your business. This is your time for you. Here's my guarantee to you. If you follow the system, you will have an awesome virtual trunk show or an art fair event if you follow this process step by step. So I just want you to know that you are in the right place if you're trying to improve your online presence, if you're looking for new ways to engage your audience virtually and to make more sales, or if you're struggling to sell through traditional methods like wholesale or art shows or other trunk shows. This is a great replacement for those traditional brick and mortar trunk shows that you might have done in the past. And I also want you to know that if you are wondering if this will work for me, here are 3 designers of all different, they all run the different gamut. I would call Anna Maria more of an art jeweler. Shahana sells fine jewelry, and Lisa Lehman sells demi-fine jewelry. Each of these designers have done amazing things with virtual trunk shows. Anna Maria replaced all of her lost show income and then some last year during the pandemic by hosting virtual collaborative art fairs. Shahana hosted a virtual trunk show for her birthday and made $39,000 in a 2-hour event. And Lisa Lehman has regularly spoken to our community. She's a graduate of our Flourish and Thrive Academy, about how she is crushing it with virtual trunk shows. And we talked about one of the ways that she did this, which I'm going to share some of the methods where she made $7,000 in a 2-hour event. So before we start, I want to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy. And I've been a jewelry designer and maker for over 25 years. And in that time, I sold over $8 million worth of jewelry and using trunk shows to do a lot of that. I've been sold in over 350 stores around the world when I had my first business. I had a lot of celebrity fans, including Charlize Theron and Halle Berry. And I currently have a private jewelry company that I work in very part-time and make multiple six-figure income from, which is super awesome. So over the years, I've watched the industry change tremendously, and I've helped designers adapt to these changes and pivot to the changing industry over the past 9 years since I launched Flourish and Thrive Academy. That's why I developed the methodology, the Desired Brand Effect, to help thousands of creative thinkers just like you create financial freedom and security, a sense of purpose and accomplishment, and really creating that security for their families, knowing that their art matters and that they're making a good living from the things that they produce. And using this methodology, I've seen so many amazing things happen. I've seen how learning just very simple strategies has helped designers go from just kind of surviving and getting by in their business to thriving into profitable scaling businesses. And to date, Flourish and Thrive Academy has helped over 8,000 jewelry and creative product brands of all types, genres, and business stages to reach sales and revenue goals, to build profitable, sustainable businesses with financial security and freedom. And also, I think this is the most important part, is a lifestyle piece, the lifestyle freedom that their owners always desired. Now, let's get real. You might be wondering, Tracy, why now? Why do I want to do a virtual trunk show now? Well, you don't need me to tell you that 2020 was an incredibly tough year. 2021 started out a little rough too. And with lockdowns and brick and mortar closures and restrictions on how many people can go to art fairs and shows and all those things, we need a way to reach our customers that doesn't require being in person. And what happened last year reminded me a lot of what happened in 2008 when the Great Recession took out so many jewelry and other types of creative product companies, including my own. And here's the thing. My experience in 2008 and the years that followed was a huge turning point for me. And it made me realize how important it is for jewelry designers to reach their audience and reach their customers online. I'm telling you all of this because if you're struggling right now, I want you to know that I've been there, and I'm here today because I believe these things can be very different and there is a clear path forward. What I'm talking about is taking your power back and reaching your customers right where they are, because people want to support your small business. Even if you don't think that they do, they certainly do. So some of the same problems from 2008 were repeating themselves thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. But I know a lot of designers in our community who are still having record-breaking sales. And you might be wondering how and why they're doing this. Well, they know how to leverage their offline audiences for online sales. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Ready? Okay, let's do this. I'm just going to check in really quickly right here with make sure that we're still streaming and check the comments over here. I'm super excited that you guys are all here. I see some of my girl Dawn is in the audience. Let's do this. So let's start with some of the basics. A standard trunk show is when a jewelry or a product brand creates a display of all their products for sale in a specific physical location. Now, I know a lot of designers in our community were doing like virtual trunk shows at West Elm, or maybe they had an in-home house party and they would have their friends over, or maybe their family over, or maybe they were a store that they sold into would have them do a trunk show on a Saturday, during seasonal events. So there's lots of ways that trunk shows used to happen. A virtual trunk show is basically the same. It's a way that makes it really easy for shoppers to buy from you and see all of your designs or a collection of your pieces in a virtual setting. The main difference is that instead of getting in a car and going somewhere to see the display, your customers attend an event typically in a 2-hour window that is streamed online or posted on social media in a certain way. I'm going to talk about how to do this in a minute. And virtual trunk shows are really important because you can host one at any time without relying on foot traffic or people showing up to a physical location. This is really important. The second reason why they're awesome is because they actually work. First-time students average around 2,000, I would say, is like the average number, but somewhere anywhere from 12,000 or 1,200, to about 5,000 for their first trunk show. And our most successful students are making anywhere from 7 to 39,000 in a 2-hour event. And they're also awesome because they're leverage. You can reach people all across the world in any time zone, no matter where you are. So I want to dive right in. So here is what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about how to plan an awesome trunk show event. We're going to share with you the little known strategies to double your average order value with very little effort. And we're going to show you how to get people to your event and keep them until the end of the trunk show. Now, before I dive into the trunk show method, I want to talk a little bit more about the types of trunk shows you can host. Let me take a sip of water real quick. The first one is a sample sale. Now, this is a great way to get rid of extra inventory or sell things off at the end of the season at a discount. If you've never done a live sale before, this can be a great way to dip your toes in the water because everyone loves a sample sale. Trust me on this. You can also do this like members of our community like Twyla Dill are doing new collection launches using virtual trunk shows. This is a great way to just promote and sell your brand new collection when you drop it. Same thing with one-of-a-kind collection releases. This is a great way for you to get in front of your audience, sell those one-of-a-kinds right there and create urgency. You can also host an online art show like Anna Maria does. She's been doing these at least monthly, if not more. And making in each of the vendors, she usually partners with about 5 different artists, 3 to 5 artists. Are you typically making about $5,000 at each show? And this is an opportunity for you to collaborate with other people and bring in a bigger audience. So you guys leverage each other's audiences. The next type is house parties. So these are like basically what I would think of as like a jewelry party at home. You can like basically host a virtual or a jewelry party virtually for, let's say, all of your sister's friends or something like that. Or you can leverage like a business networking community. There's a lot of different ways that you can leverage different audiences and kind of replicate that home shopping party virtually. And then finally, in-store events are also a great way to make them virtual. So if you wanted to partner with a retailer, this is a great way to kind of reach their audience as well. You can also do collaborative trade shows in a virtual event. So if you aren't going to any of the, let's say the in-person trade shows for wholesale, you could partner with a group of designers and do virtual trade shows, which is awesome. You can also host a virtual styling session where you can, this is like more of a small group or one-on-one experience where you can have VIP experiences. So the same methodology works for that. You can use this for custom design development projects. So you can work on custom designs for your custom clients where you meet them on a virtual trunk show setting or selling event, or you can even like host a virtual trunk show where you're getting rid of like maybe some stones that you have where the back end offer of it is a custom project. And then finally, you can do holiday themed events like Christmas or Black Friday or whatever it is, Mother's Day, you know, all these events that come up. So they're really great. They're really lucrative, and you can host a virtual trunk show anytime. And this is a really great excuse to celebrate shopping. Okay, so let's dive into the first step of this is really about planning your event. So now that you have the idea of the many types of virtual trunk shows that you can take, let's dive into the details. Staying organized is really the key to success on the day of the event and in advance. You want to make sure that you have a clear game plan and plenty of time to prepare. I like to say for preparation before an event, like anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks is a good prep time. But you can also do this at the last minute. It works if you're like a quick start like me, totally works. And then the reason for this is that there's a lot that goes into a 1 to 2 hour virtual trunk show. So the first step of this is really just getting a date and time on the calendar. And you want to start about 4 to 5 weeks ahead and get a head start on that, especially if this is your first time. The second decision that you want to make is to pick a platform. So you can stream live on social media like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, which is a little bit harder, I would say. You can stream in a Facebook group, and then you can use different tools like Zoom or Restream or StreamYard to stream to multiple locations if that's something that you want to. You can also host a Zoom trunk show and just keep people focused right on your Zoom event. So they're coming into the Zoom like a Zoom webinar, which is a great way to do this. And some designers like Gina and Jared Rushton use multiple platforms across different days and different times to cast a wider net. And I'm going to share like a case study from them a little bit later on this masterclass. Ultimately, I would suggest choosing the platform that your audience is already on and something that will make it easy for them to show up. So if your audience is a little bit older, you might want to consider just doing it straight on Zoom where they follow a link so they're not distracted by social media. If your people are always on Facebook, a Facebook Live or a Facebook group is good. Or if you have a younger audience and they're only hanging out on Instagram, check out Instagram Live. So you get the picture. And then you need an offer, right? You need something to sell. So you can do a couple of things. You can just sell individual pieces, but you can create some sort of incentive along the way where you can bundle things together. You can offer a gift with purchase. You can maybe do a buy one, get one incentive. Maybe if you're doing like one of those sample sales, you have a discount, or we mentioned doing a one-of-a-kind collection drop. And then you can also have some sort of maybe exclusive content for the show to get people to show up and stay till the end. So this is really important. Like you want to have some juicy offers delivered throughout that trunk show. And this is, this can get like, if this feels complicated to you, what I would tell you is to just like set this aside and just go with the trunk show and make it really straightforward in the beginning. Now, the next step of this is really creating a marketing and a promotion plan. So what you want to do is market and promote the event the right way. And you want to create buzz and awareness about the event by properly planning out your marketing. It's probably the thing that's going to take the most time. You can make things a lot easier for yourself by creating a marketing calendar and mapping out all the content that needs to be created and scheduled in advance. So this would be things like all your social media channels, email marketing, if you're going to do paid ads, etc., which I will get into here. So some of the marketing things that you might want to consider would be email marketing or an email campaign, which is a must-have, a social media plan. And this is basically just like how you're going to promote it on social. You would definitely want to, probably if this is your first time and you don't have a big email list, you can promote your trunk show with grassroots efforts. That just really means reaching out to your friends and family network and having them leverage their audiences. Another way to do this is to do it through, get people there with a referral or an ambassador program. And these referrals or ambassadors, they would get incentives for referring people to show up. Another thing that you can use for marketing would be video content. For instance, like you could do a couple of Facebook or Instagram lives promoting the event in advance and getting people to opt in and RSVP in advance. And then other types of content like blog posts, other collaborations maybe with influencers, you can get on podcasts, like all those types of things to promote it and get people there. And all of this should be mapped out on your marketing calendar. Now, the next step of this is to really curate your product. So you want to decide like, what are you going to sell and what's going to be on there? And what I'm going to tell you is that that a spreadsheet is going to be your best friend right here. You want to get everything organized in a Google Sheet or Excel or whatever, or Pages, whatever you use. And on this spreadsheet, what you're going to do is organize all of the pieces and make sure that you have all of the appropriate links that you're going to need to pull it off, so that when you're running the event, you're not scrambling to figure out what is what, right? What's what? Does that make sense? And then you have a couple of options when it comes to actually selling the items. So depending on how you want to do this, and I'm not going to go into super depth here, but we have a virtual trunk show package that I'm going to share with you at the end of this masterclass, where we go into depth on how to do all these. But there's a couple of ways you can use. There's an application called Comment Sold. You can also just claim items sold in the comments. And you want to just make sure that you have, if you're doing the comment sold method, that it's on a first come, first serve basis, that the instructions are very clear and upfront, and that you enlist help on the day of the show to make this work, because you're going to need someone behind the scenes actually gathering those links for you. The other is to just draw purchase links. And then if you only have one, this is where it could get a scramble. It could be like a race to getting those links. So you could drop the purchase links and people can just go to that link before to purchase the product, and you would drop them in the comments as the show is going. And you want to make sure that you test every link before the show. And there's different ways to run the trunk show, because you can host this in a video method, you can host it in an event, and we only go through a couple of the options here, but there's different ways to list and post your trunk show. So just make sure that whichever way you decide, that you're really organized in advance. And as I mentioned, don't worry if you don't have all these details right now. I'm going to share something at the end that's going to easily help you map all of this out. Now, the next piece of this is on the day of, you want to make sure that you have a plan. So you want to make sure that you outline the day so that everything goes smoothly. We're going to touch base on this again in just a minute, but really what you're thinking about is like, okay, I'm going to, in the first section or the first third of the trunk show, this is what I'm going to talk about. You're going to organize all the products and know exactly what's going to happen during each segment of your trunk show and how it's going to roll out. Now let's talk about promotions, because this is really one of the most important pieces of it. As you can probably tell, most of the work involved in hosting a virtual trunk show is planning your marketing and actually promoting the event. Getting people to show up is half the battle. So it's important that you're dedicated and consistent with your promotion. First of all, I want you to decide where you want your traffic and marketing efforts to go. So I'd recommend having some sort of event. You can use a Facebook event or I don't know, other types of events. There's like Evite and stuff like that where people can RSVP, or you can drive traffic to a landing page where they can register and opt in. And I like all of these ideas because it allows you an opportunity to message the guests who have RSVP'd for the show. And as long as the most important thing is that you're able to capture their info and remind them about the show in the days coming up to the event and tease the offer really well. And you tease the offer with your email marketing schedule. So you're typically going to start sending out email teasers about 10 to 14 days in advance, with increasing frequency closer to the event, and have this culminating in 2 to 3 emails on the big day. So we have an entire calendar of emails listed in our virtual trunk show bundle that I'm going to tell you about at the end. I'll share that with you shortly. These emails, you would send them out from your email CRM. So it might be Klaviyo or MailChimp or Omnisend or whatever you use for email marketing. Now, when you're promoting this, you want to make sure that you do this properly on social media. It's really important to get as many eyes on your event as possible. So you want to schedule the posts 1 to 2 days a week in advance leading up to your events. And the most important platforms for jewelers and creative product makers generally are Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. So you want to make sure that you're really leveraging those places and building the audience and awareness about it there. You can create static content. You can create like IGTV videos. You can do a live stream video. You can post this in the stories, like whatever works for you. Think back to like great ways to host a virtual trunk show. Now, one of my favorite and most underrated ways to get people to your event starts with the people that you already know. Oftentimes, these people aren't on your email list. They are your friends and family or your professional network or what it might be. But since they already know you, they're here to support you. Remember, people want to support your small business. So you can invite your friends and families and acquaintances to the event through personal emails, text, phone calls, and DMs. You can also partner with the friends and families to have them invite their friends and family to the event to get them there. So there's a whole strategy behind this, but grassroots marketing is an amazing way to get people to your virtual event. This takes a little bit more time. So this is why it's important to be prepared, especially because it's manual. But if you are prepared, you can contact a lot of people in just one day. Now, the next part of this that you can use to kind of leverage someone else's existing audience is to do a refer a friend campaign. So your grassroots marketing can also include some sort of referral or ambassador code where you ask your network to actually invite people or bring their friends to an incentive. And then they get an incentive there. So maybe it's like if they get a certain amount of people there, they get a free piece of jewelry, or maybe they get a special discount off the products, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of different ways to think about this. And then finally, another way to get people there is with paid advertising. So unless you're already experienced with Um, this might not be the first place to start, but paid ads can really help complement your RSVP strategy. Unless you're already experienced with advertising and have some successful ads campaigns under your belt, just host a few trunk shows first and then start using ads to support the event later, like on your next event. Now, it might seem like there's a lot. So I want to remind you that although planning a virtual trunk show and everything, like getting the marketing calendar together might sound like a lot, the beautiful thing is that you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. Once you have one piece of content made, you can repurpose it for multiple platforms. Also, you can use the same kind of general idea for trunk shows in the future. So if you create the content once, you can just tweak it a little bit for the next show that you have. So for instance, you can create one video of your behind the scenes process, post it to your feed, create shorter clips, use it in your story, use that as inspiration for your email, and so on and so forth. And then you use it for the first show. And then after that, you can repurpose some of that content as assuming it's still relevant, right? When you're hosting your next trunk show. And then, as I tell everyone all the time, that your consistency is key. You definitely want to be consistent with your promotion strategy. So you never want to be ashamed to sell. The people who are going to show up are people who love and do want to actually buy your products. So remember that they're showing up because they want to. So the next part of this is to sell. So when the day of the trunk show finally rolls around, the good news is that you have most of the heavy lifting and the work behind you. You want to get all your ducks in a row so that you can simply take a deep breath and run the show. Now, once the cameras start rolling, or if you're not doing this like necessarily on camera in a video virtual trunk show, because there are other ways that don't require video, you're not going to be able to really focus on a lot except for hosting the actual trunk show. So do something in the morning or the day of to help you relax. So this might mean doing some yoga or meditating or even doing a breathing exercise. Do a trial run through and test any technology that you're using in advance to make sure that you avoid any other issues. And if you've enlisted help from other people, which I think is always a great idea, like to have a helper behind the scenes, make sure that they know their role and that they have everything that they need. And that you have everything you need. And then once again, I mentioned this earlier, but make sure that you have an outline for the show ready to go, because you're going to have a lot more fun and success with your show if you don't wing it and you're actually super prepared and structured. So here's a typical structure for a virtual trunk show. If you're doing this live or if you're doing it pre-recorded, either way, you can do all of these things. Or pre-recorded, live, excuse me, I wouldn't do it pre-recorded. What I meant is live or static. So some people do like create an event and they host the trunk show inside the event with the comments. So you could do all of these things inside of an event or inside of a Facebook group as well. So first you want to introduce yourself. The next you want to share the rules and be very, very clear about how the show is going to run so that there are no questions. Then you want to give an overview of the event, share what's happening. Then you want to build some excitement. So you might want to do some sort of like contest or giveaway here to get people engaged. And then you start selling. So you have selling segment 1. This is a tongue twister. Start selling segment 1. And in that segment, you're going to start selling the products, posting them, showing them, really getting people to buy, dropping the links in the comments, the whole thing. And then once people start buying after you've posted a few things, you want to call out some of the buyers and congratulate them for getting the show. Then you want to break this up, the story, with some sort of contest. So about halfway through or a third of the way through, you want to have some sort of contest or contest. Do some storytelling or give some people a reason to like get excited and give something away. Then you're going to repeat, wash, rinse, and repeat 4, 5, and 6, 2 or 3 more times. And then you're going to conclude the event with another event or contest and tell them what happens next. And there's a lot of wiggle room here, but I want to remind you, one of the ideas that you want to keep people till the end. So having some sort of big contest at the end for people who are still on the trunk show at the end of it is going to be key for keeping people there. So obviously there's a lot of wiggle room here, but what's really important is that you set expectations in the beginning of the show Break up the flow with fun things like giveaways, segments, or contests, and end on a high note. Setting expectations at the beginning and at the end of your event is critical to your success. Now, in the beginning, make sure that you very clearly explain the rules for how to claim an item or make a purchase. You definitely don't want anyone to get confused or miss out on an opportunity to buy. And in the end, be clear about what the buyers can expect next. Will you be contacting them, sending an invoice? When will your orders ship? Things like that, like all the things that they need to know. And then throughout the event, you want to maintain engagement with the people on the show. This is the most challenging aspect, I think, of hosting an event or a virtual trunk show. Watch it, and I don't know, just watch. If someone's coming and they're just watching you sell or post things for 2 hours, it can get a little boring. So what we want to do is to create engagement throughout it. So have conversations with people, have contests, break up the flow with entertaining stories, questions for the audience, giveaways and raffles. And you could seed all of this stuff in advance so people are prepared. Here are some ideas for engagement. You can ask questions, and the first person to answer the question correctly in the comments wins a piece of jewelry or a gift card to your store. So the cool thing about this is that you can actually ask people to ask questions you can ask them questions about your line or something like that. And then they have to actually answer questions to get to know what you do a little bit better. You can also have a giveaway, have them comment a keyword for engagement like heck yes, and the first can get a free pair of earrings. Or you can do something like a raffle. Everyone who shows up gets an entry. Anyone who refers a customer to the trunk show gets another entry, and assuming that the person shows up. And throughout the event, you can draw for prizes and announce winners at the beginning, middle, and the end of the trunk show. Now, engagement naturally drops off as the events progress. So it's not a bad idea to create an incentive for people to stay to the end, as I mentioned. So save the best gift or whatever you're giving away till the end of the event. Make this the biggest, juiciest one. And we have a free resource. It's called 11 Types of Virtual Trunk Shows That Every Jewelry or Product Maker Must Try. I will drop you a link to that at the end of the masterclass, just so if you want to download it, you can have it. So the very last step of this is really the follow-up. This is key. So before you do anything else, take a minute to celebrate you, and you've done a great job. You're here, you're hosting the event, and doing that trunk show is no small feat. And for most of you, it's probably one of the most daunting things. So what you do after the trunk show, after you're done celebrating, of course, will shape what your customers come to expect from your brand, and also shape what happens as far as building your sales. That's why I've been emphasizing how important it is for you to stay organized. You want to encourage your audience, especially those who bought something, to keep showing up for your brand. So when you're getting your orders ready to ship, you want to think of a way that you can add some sort of personal touch. So make sure that you're personalizing the orders or the things. You can have really nice packaging, write a handwritten thank you note, put in branded cards, stickers, and other goodies in the package. And then you can also give away bonus products or samples as just a good way. So if you're trying to get rid of stuff or you have something low cost, you can give them a little bonus for shopping at the virtual trunk show. It just kind of shows that your customers that you really care, and it leaves a taste in their mouth so they want to show up to the next one. Now, something that you want to be thinking about after the event is upsell opportunities. So as you're sending out the links and getting people to buy, let's say someone bought a necklace, you want to tell them hey, I found that we have these matching set of earrings that I think would go really well with this necklace, and I have another pair. If you'd like them, you can either just buy the necklace or you can buy these two together for a special price. For, I don't know, create some sort of I don't really like 99s, but we have this in a resource, $119.99 for that special set or whatever it might be, or maybe it's $60 for a bundle. So, and then you could just say let me know if you're interested in adding this to your order, and I'd be happy to ship this out with you. Now, as you know, I am a huge fan of email marketing, or maybe you don't know this. Email marketing never rests. So anyone who's made a purchase should be funneled into a post-purchase email sequence. And that is really important for growing your virtual trunk show. I'd recommend personally following up with the buyers about a week or so after their order's been delivered. You can do this automated, or you can also do this as basically as a manual process. And then in that moment, you can ask for a review, a testimonial, or even feedback on the trunk show so that you can get some testimonials for your next one, which is great. And then if they do something nice for you, like give a review or a testimonial, you can give them a gift card or some sort of discount code or some sort of incentive as a thank you for actually doing that. Now, that was one way, the extra gift card for incentivizing them for giving a testimonial, but then also the upsell with suggestive selling other products with the pieces that they actually purchase is another way to actually build the order as well. And then something else that you could do is just create FOMO on social media, because this is the way to prime your audience for your next virtual event. And if people missed out, they're going to be really bummed, especially if they start seeing these testimonials rolling in. And this is going to encourage people to keep an eye out for future opportunities from you. And as with everything in business, hosting a virtual trunk show requires reflection after the show. So this is a massive learning opportunity for you to understand a little bit more and journal or document what worked, what didn't work, what would you keep the same next time, what would you do differently, and then what are some of the things that you can improve on that were kind of good, but you want to do better. And then the final question is, when are you going to do it again? So that's important. You want to make sure that you are thinking about a strategy for your next trunk show when it's time. Whoops. So I want you learned a lot today. I want you to take a moment to take a deep breath and, take a deep inhale if you like, and exhale it out because that was probably a lot. And I want to know, are you feeling motivated to actually go out there and host a virtual show? So if the answer is yes, give me a heck yes in the comments because I would love to know. Now, this is a pretty high level overview of what it takes to plan, promote, and execute a profitable virtual trunk show. Now, believe it or not, there is a lot of info that we just don't have time to cover in one masterclass. So I wanted to just recap what you've learned today. You discovered how to plan an awesome trunk show event, the little known follow-up strategy to double your average order value with very little effort, and how to get people to your event and keep them until the end. And you might still have some questions about what kind of tech do I need for live streaming? How often should I email my list? How do I get the most out of my next virtual trunk show? What are some of the effective social media strategies that I should be using? And what are more ways that I can increase my average order value after the fact? Because there are a lot of different ways and different things that you can do to really build the sale. And all of that makes sense because there is a lot to think about. And I'd love to offer you help with this. So I have something that's actually going to blow your mind. It is so ridiculously awesome that's going to help you pull it off without a hitch. So I have a question for you right now. Would you like my help in growing and pulling off your virtual trunk show? If that's a yes, I would love for you to just either internally say heck yes so I can feel the vibes, or type it in the comments or whatever you think, or in the chat. Because here is how I can help you. It is a really low-cost system called the Virtual Trunk Shows That Sell Done For You system. It is really about taking the guesswork out of hosting your first or next virtual event so that you can spend more time selling your jewelry and less time stressing about logistics. This works for jewelry designers, but it works for anyone selling a physical product, which is great. Discover how to simply promote, plan, and execute a stress-free virtual sales event with more attendees and awesome sales. So let me quickly walk you through what is included in this. Getting tongue-tied today. I don't know why. The first is the Virtual Trunk Shows That Sell Done For You system. This is really a step-by-step system that walks you through how to plan the perfect virtual event and create an epic offer. I'm going to show you how to increase your attendance and crush it on the big day. We're going to share with you some streamlined selling strategies to take out the stress out of collecting your money at the end of the event. This system is valued at $897. Don't worry, your investment is going to be like pennies on that. The next is the Virtual Trunk Shows That Sell Done For You system. This is all about getting people to your event and the secret to doing that is having a successful virtual trunk show is getting those people to your event. So your promotion plan is going to help you map out all the details from content to seating to promotion. You stop worrying about if you're doing enough to promote this on social media and to your email list. This is valued at $397. The next up is the virtual trunk shows that sell recommended tech tools to optimize your success. Leave the research to us. We've curated a list of proven tech tools to make your event a heck of a lot easier. We also have the virtual trunk show organizer, which is valued at $197. Organization is the key to hosting a successful event. Use your virtual trunk show organizer to keep all your important links so you have things at the ready when it's go time. Plus, take the work out of repeating this process. Use the organizer over and over again to continue to improve your events. This is valued at $197. So the entire virtual trunk shows done for you system, including the entire system documented, it's a really long documented system, is $897, or easy to follow, I would say, but thorough is what I meant to say. The done for you virtual event promotion plan is $397 value. The virtual trunk show organizer is $197 value. The recommended tech tools to optimize your success is valued at $197. All in, the total value is $1,688. Your investment is only $67. Now, if you're interested in learning more about this and you want to join now while you're on the masterclass, all you have to do is head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/VTS now and enter the discount code VT. You will get $20 off and get the trunk show system for just $47. Now, you might be wondering what kind of results that you can expect. The average students in our programs say that they are blown away by this bundle, that it's such valuable information, that it just explained everything perfectly and it was super easy to pull off. Now, you might be wondering about sales results. So the average student who takes this bundle and runs with it and follows it step by step, maybe launches their first one at about $1,200 to $2,000, upwards of $7,000 for an average virtual trunk show. Our most successful students are doing amazing things, like Gina and Jared Rushton. They're grads of our Momentum program, and they pulled in more than $8,000 over a Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend with their virtual trunk show strategy. And Shahana Kitmanju sold $39,000 worth of fine jewelry for her virtual birthday event after her events were shut down due to COVID-19. So if you're interested in learning more about this, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/VTS now, enter the discount code VTS now at checkout and get $20 off the virtual trunk show system. So if you're wondering if these trunk shows work, the answer is yes. So here's what you get when you join us for the VTS system. You get the step-by-step virtual trunk show system at $897, the done for you virtual event promotion plan valued at $397, the virtual trunk show organizer valued at $197, and recommended tech tools to optimize your success valued at $197. Now, the total value for this is $1,688, and your investment today is just $47 when you head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/VTS now and enter the discount code VTS now in all caps at checkout. You'll get $20 off. All right. So when you say yes on this masterclass, as I promised, I'm going to drop you a link in the streaming for our bonus here, but I really want to encourage you. I'm just going to come here over back to my comment so I can see on StreamYard. We're just going to play this screen here. And, Dawn, thank you for supporting me. Also, I would love to mention that if anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer this. I am going to type this all in and drop the links real quick. I would love to know what you found most valuable in this trunk show system. I definitely want to hear from you. So make sure that you share that. And I have I'm streaming across multiple platforms right now. So I'm going to actually, there's another one dropping in the system. So I want to answer some questions that have been coming in. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. I would love to answer your question. A bunch of people are saying, oh my gosh, this is great, fantastic information. Carol's saying, I have the trunk show and email trainings. I need to get into them. Great information. Dawn saying this was outstanding. Susan saying, great tips. A bunch of people are sounding like, oh my gosh, such great ideas. All right. So let me, oops. I think something is not working here. Let me just drop this one more time. I'm going to chat this here. So I got a couple of questions coming in. What are some of the most common ways to host a virtual trunk show? So the most popular ways that I've seen people host these virtual trunk shows is really about, is all about, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Oh yeah, you guys can hear me. I think I'm added to the stream. If you guys can hear me, if you're still streaming live, if you can hear me, just tell me that you can hear me. I can hear you, Tracy. So what are some of the most common ways to host a trunk show? So the ways that we see most in our community are that our designers and makers actually are doing sample sales. So that's one of the best ways, I think, to get rid of extra inventory. So at the end of a season is to collect all the stuff that you want to get rid of and host a sample sale. It is a great way to offload a bunch of inventory. Now, one of the second most common ways that we see people using virtual trunk shows is for new collection drops. In fact, if you have a one-of-a-kind collection or a limited edition collection, this can be a really powerful way to get your new products in front of your audience. And people like Twyla Dill in our community are doing an awesome job with this. We have Margaret Aiden of Original Sin Jewelry. She's doing awesome with this. And also Kate Sidney pulled off an amazing trunk show with a new collection launch. Another way to do it, which is one of my favorites, you're going to see Anna Maria on the slide here. She's sort of on this lower left-hand corner. She has been hosting virtual collaborative art show events, which have been insane. In fact, these virtual collaborative events have been some of the most successful. The artists that she's curating with, they're all, because they're leveraging each other's audiences, they're walking away with anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 in sales across the event, which has been super powerful. So those are some of my favorite ways that are working right now. So if you have a question for me, feel free to drop it in the chat. I have a couple of more that came in, and then I'm going to sign off. Someone is asking, how long is this discount code available? Well, it's available for as long as we are on the masterclass. So if you're interested in grabbing this virtual trunk show, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/VTS now and enter the code VTS now at checkout for $20 off your order. Now, the next question I'm getting is, what if I sell fine jewelry? Does a virtual trunk show really work for fine jewelry? Yeah, I get it. You might be like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Is it really going to get me the sales that I want? So I mentioned Shahana Kitmanju. She has a slightly lower priced fine jewelry, but she does sell fine jewelry. She's a rock star. She sold $39,000 in a 2-hour event. So I think if you have a customer base for this, and you have an audience that buys it, if you have some sort of deal or value or something that's coming out of the trunk show, it can be a really great way to sell custom pieces, to launch a new collection, and also to get rid of samples at the end of a season, if that makes sense for you. Someone else is asking, do I need an email list to host a virtual trunk show? I don't have a big email list. How can I get people there? So you don't. I think having a small list is great and it's fine. But that's where the grassroots marketing comes into play. We all know a lot of people who love our jewelry, right? And so if you want to, what I used to do, I think of this as like doing home parties back in the day. So I would do a home party in someone's house, and I would end up basically whoever the host was, giving them like incentives for bringing their audience to the trunk show. And so you can use that same method here. Maybe you have 3 or 4 hosts who collaborate on the event. They invite all their friends and get people there for the sales. Like if they really do the work, you can give them free jewelry. You can give them a percentage of the sales. There's a way that you can leverage other people's audiences by getting people on there. And it's also a great way to build your email list. So those are all the questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them or shoot us a direct message, and I'd be happy to answer any coming questions that you have. Once again, if you would like to grab this bundle, it is such a bargain and literally one of the best business bundles that we offer over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/VTS now and grab your bundle. You can enter the discount code VTS now and get $20 off your order and get the bundle that's regularly $67 for $47 for a limited time. All right, you guys, this is Tracy. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did miss part of this, this was streaming live, so you can watch it later. If you're watching the replay, awesome. Make sure that you share and tag this with your friends. If you know anyone who might be interested in this, it's all about sharing is caring, because this is an awesome training. I hope that you think so. I thought it was awesome. I know that a lot of people ask me about those trunk shows, and this is just an easy way for someone who's getting their toes wet into the virtual trunk show system to actually totally rock it out and make this work like gangbusters. All right, I'll chat with you soon. Have a good day. Bye.